Billy took us to some of the contact sites. He reenacted taking some of the pictures, and we immediately felt the same way, that there is no way he could rig pictures into the scene. There's no way anybody could toss them into the scene. There was no way anything could be faked in the deal. And the question of models had come up very early with us, probably earlier than with anybody else. And yes, there was a model on Billy's desk the first time I got there. And that was almost 2 years after it started. And when I asked him about it, he said, oh, well, that was turned on a lathe in a shop school, in a high school shop class by a 12-year-old neighbor boy. And he brought it to me as a present. He said, I took pictures of it, and we tossed it in the air, and we set it in the grass, put it on a fence post. He said, and I made copies of the pictures and gave them to him out of courtesy for his effort. And then others brought him other models made. There was another plastic model made with the bases of aircraft models, carefully selected for their shape and size, and then glued together one on top of the other or the bottom of the other to get the approximate form of the plated ships, and that looked pretty good too. And there was one made with paper mache that made by hand that wasn't bad. And people were bringing those to Billy, and he was graciously accepting the models and putting them on his desk. So there were models, but none of those models appeared in any of the photographs I ever saw.
It was from this photograph that the special effects expert Wally Gentleman, who had been a director of special effects in 2001, designed and had made 2 UFO models at the MGM Special Effects Studio. In these photographs, we see Billy Meier with those models.
You mean 2001, the Kubrick film?
Yes.
And what's the difference between these models versus, photographs that Billy Meier took of actual UFOs?
Well, I think we're going to take a look at some of that. For instance, here we can see in this film the model, one of the models being handheld and walked about the property. There were very specific technical differences that were observed, but in this film, we see an object that some people might say is a model. It's hovering above what appears to be a tree and in front of a house.
Is this one of his films?